Hello, gaming fans, and once again, it's time for Sean's Picks of the Week. This week, inspired by the release of Fantasy Flight Games' version of the Legend of the Five Rings role-playing game, we are into Adventures in the East week. Now, I will be the first to admit that this pick seemed to be one of my more controversial ones, mostly because a lot of fans of the original, rather brilliant L5R, as created by Mr. John Wick, were not thrilled with the attempt by Fantasy Flight to merge the roll and keep system with their established narrative dice system as they present in Genesis and the original Star Wars RPG. They even did the whole custom dice thing with having special dice with special symbols. So, you had the D10 approach before, now you have the custom symbol dice. And a lot of people who are L5R fans pretty much are like, not so much. However, a lot of people who do really love the Genesis style and are excited about playing in this still very deep, very rich, very evolved, and uniquely created setting that is inspired by many elements of Eastern myth, we're pretty excited and are pretty excited about this game. So, find out for yourself. You can certainly do a lot of deep dive before you actually have to buy anything and find out if this might be a version that you would enjoy. Certainly, it's got the benefit of all of the richness and amazing production value that Fantasy Flight brings to everything they do. And of course, they have this out in support of both the board game and the continuation of the collectible card game that was such a huge hit for so very long. So that was Monday's pick. Now, unfortunately, I was really wrapped up on Tuesday, so Wednesday saw me picking two different games, OVA, the anime role-playing game, and Feng Shui 2, the action movie role-playing game by Robin Laws. So let's just get into those. Feng Shui 2 is Robin Laws' homage to all things John Woo, Chow Yun-Fat, Bruce Lee, Jack Burton, and Wuxia, among so many other influences. While OVA, the anime role-playing game, is one I haven't played yet, but I've heard amazing things, and apparently it is in the same space as the venerable and beloved Big Eye Small Mouth, but it brings a lot of 21st century game design philosophy in, making it far more accessible to the latest crop of gamers to come to the table. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, and of course I can say a lot of good things about Feng Shui 2. We're currently in a campaign in which I will admit I'm playing a guy named Jake Barton. You want to know what old Jake Barton does at a time like this? I'm in a game with my partner and very dear friend, the Professor Michael Serbrook, who is playing Sam Sung, and Jennifer Scheinfeld is playing Gina Washburn. Corinne is playing Victoria Schlotsky. We've got a few more people that are looking at getting into the game, so exciting and fun stuff. It is a great time. The mechanics are really interesting and neat. They do reflect a lot of interesting elements that you won't find anywhere else. The shot clock has its ups and its downs. If you are not a particularly fast character and you don't have the right combination of cool abilities, you might find yourself sitting around waiting while Michael Serbrook's character kills everything over and over and over again. But, everybody still gets a chance to shine and do some fun stuff. All right, let's move on to yesterday's pick, which generated a great deal of nostalgic and current enthusiasm. Mekton Z, the anime mecha role-playing game. We stomp, blast, and fly our way through adventures in the East with this venerable, beloved, and still hella fun anime-flavored mecha game about a dedicated force of pilots and their support structure at war with the impossible alien foes. It's a love letter to Japanese storytelling and anime that Mike Pondsmith of Cyberpunk 2077 fame wrote after years of both fandom and intensive research. The mechanics are slick and the world building is exquisite. There's a rumor that a new version is in the works, and even though it didn't quite make it in the world of Kickstarter the first time out, the design and stuff is all in the background, and now with the success of some other things that has brought our friends at Artalsorian back into the spotlight, pretty good chance we're going to see a new version of this. But I'm going to tell you, the original really does hold up nicely. especially if you don't mind a good bit of extra crunch and you really like getting into building and customizing your mecha, because this game really gave you that option. Finally, today's pick, Mists of Akuma. This is the Shadow of the Demon Lord version. There is also a 5e version, but one of the reasons why I picked this one is I found it very fascinating that someone decided to take the Robert Schwab's Shadows of the Demon Lord system and do something completely different with it. So adapting Mists of Akuma, which, by the way, is it's a deeply crafted Eastern fantasy noir steampunk mashup. So if you like the idea of those elements being mixed in and getting a chance to play with a heavy fantasy feel, but with a lot of those other elements in the play, this is something you want to check out. If you're much more of a 5e fan, if that's your world, grab the Mists of Akuma version for that. And they got a ton of support out for this stuff as well. So there is our Adventures in the East week. Thank you, as always, for your support. And once again, I'll remind you that if you click on the links and then make any purchases from going to DriveThruRPG, you do generate revenue for me and for the dog and the rest of the Evil Beagle family. So, thanks a lot, and we will see you next week. Oh, by the way, remember, game on and be good.